So Idubbbz is officially so poor that he's finally making content again. Content that for some reason he needs at least like a month between each upload. It seems like every time he hits record, he's like, I'm gonna need an entire month to break this fucking slop, sit in my room and jerk off video out because it needs some high-end editing. If I know one thing about videos where you sit in front of a computer and do absolutely nothing, it needs tons of random pictures shoved onto the screen, and we're gonna call it high-class editing that takes you 2.5 seconds to get done. And what is this video about? Well, he likes to position it as racism and like xenophobia and stuff, but he does the same thing Idubbbz always does: make crappy arguments and then fling insults at him. That's kind of an Idubbbz video for it. But now it's not just insults, he has a virtue signal. In fact, he actually redoes the intro at the very end of the video in Spanish, I guess. I don't know why. He wants to be more inclusive, but it's not the whole video, so it's just like a gay little gesture that means absolutely nothing. I mean, he is a weird little like goblin crack pirate. I mean, that's how he looks anymore. And it's kind of funny to me that his setup from back in the day was like nice and crispy, and now you look at his setup now, it looks like he smuggles crack for the cartel under his parents' basement. I don't know what the hell happened, but it's the worst, most janky sad monitor I've ever seen. He's like in the corner of just like a dungeon. What's going on here, Idubbbz? Buddy, you need to get your funny up and your money up at the same time, buddy. I know that you're finally uploading, which is exactly what I told you to do after we found out you were broke. I mean, how could you fumble the bag this bad to get him into this situation? Bro's absolutely covering himself in jizz, turning on the camera, making no actual like intellectual breakdowns. He's pretending to be a bread tuber without any of the intelligence of a bread tuber, and that hurt for me to say. To give any of these bread tube goonbags any credit, the people who are the worst at honestly formulating any sort of like rational opinion, when you're making them look like intellectuals, you're doing something wrong, pal. Now, I'm not the most political of guys out there, in fact, I'm just kind of an asshole that likes to talk a lot, but dear God, was this a dog shit video. And it just kind of is going along the same track of Idubbbz coming up with an idea for a video and finding people that he hates and then really not refuting their arguments, just kind of calling them racist. It's the same thing he used to do back in the day, except for he used to just call people slurs. So he's found the other side of the coin. He's like, so slurs get me in trouble, I'm gonna virtue signal. That sounds like the right shit to do. They can't say anything about that. I'll make sure to do some shitty Spanish at the end of the video. That'll get these fuckers. And I also like that he decided to like make a huge stand. The only like notable person that he like called out in this was like the Nelk boys. Everybody else was like nobody travel vloggers that honestly were super cringe and nobody gives a fuck about. Like, it would have been funnier if he would have just like made anything funny in the video, but it's just kind of pointing out stuff and calling them racist for 20 minutes of that. But he does have a section with the Nelk boys where one of the guys in the Nelk boys like, if I walk into a shawarma restaurant and I see white people serving me, I leave. Now, I'm gonna be real. I worked at an Indian restaurant, and I was like one of the only, I think it was me and one other guy that were white, right? There was 2 white people, but like that place was fucking fire. I've also been to Indian restaurants that are like fucking Indian fusion ones, and I'm gonna be real, I'm gonna be racist against some white folks here. White folks don't make as good of Indian food as Indian people. What the fuck, dude? White people need to get their funny up back. They need to get their fucking Indian food levels up, because I gotta be real, they can't make Indian food as good as Indian people. And the same thing goes with like, if I go to a Mexican restaurant and it's like a bunch of fucking like Chipotle loving fucking soccer moms, I'm not gonna like their food compared to like greasy fucking down the street. You walk in and you gotta like scrape a little grease off the table, but it's got like some guys that probably are ex-cartel members behind the counter. Now, this isn't me generalizing Hispanic people. I'm talking about like the dingiest fucking taco joint you can go to. And also the menu's always like fucking just a piece of paper that's stretched out with like plastic draped over it. It's never like an actual like lit up menu. It's just like pictures on the wall. That place has fucking fire food, my brother. If you haven't been to a place like that, like I had one in my hometown like that. It was just like a drape of fucking pictures on this. It was like a little area right above the counter that's normally to separate like your eyes from the back of the kitchen. That was just draped in fucking pictures, brother. Like it was like a burger that we were like, why is there a burger? And there was like 872 other options. And on the TV, the music playing in the background, you look at the TV, it's just a bunch of like Mexican guys carrying AKs, and you're like, I'm pretty sure this is cartel music. I'm pretty sure this is cartel restaurant. But the fucking burritos are fire, my brother. That's the type of place that, that's like where you get that real authenticity. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. I mean, the fucking real ones know what I'm talking about. When you go in there and you see like one guy in the corner with like 87 tattoos, like look up and stare at you, and you just kind of like give him you don't give him a nod or anything. I was gonna say give him a nod, but you wouldn't do that. You look at him, you just kind of like you look back straight, because you know you're not in the zone that you should be. But at the same time, you're gonna buy them fucking burritos, you're gonna dip out, and you're gonna go and fucking like jizz over those motherfuckers. That's like the dream place, and you know what I'm fucking talking about. And that goes for like any of these like when you're talking about like authentic food, you gotta find like the authentic fucking food. That was like a weird tangent, and I know it's a weird tangent, but whatever. Yeah, you get my point. But then he goes and turns this into like a giant tirade about how that's like internalized racism, and how you go to Japan and like open up a Japanese or an American style restaurant in Japan, you're racist or some shit. I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of fucking sense. He's trying to pull straws and you can tell his daddy issues are popping up, because this is the type of shit your conservative father would say. And I have a feeling that Idubbbz's dad is conservative or something, because he's like really in his fucking feelings about the shit. I don't know. That, or is just buttholes leaking so much from Nisa like plowing the shit out of his asshole every night that he really has nothing else to do but go into his weird little fucking jerk off dungeon to record these shitty videos. But hey, man, at least he's trying to do something to get some money, because the dude's fucking financial situation is supposedly atrocious, which is astounding to me, considering he has like a 7 million sub channel where he can put out fucking shitty breadtube content where he just sits in front of a fucking computer and puts up shitty PNGs and gets millions of fucking views. Like, come the fuck on, bro. Just do that. Or hundreds of thousands of views, I guess. Do that. Just make videos. Make videos and make money, dude. I can make fun of your shit. The internet will make fun of you, but at least you'll be making money. You won't be broke all the fucking time. This is maybe a step in the right direction, but also like 6 steps back. I also like being berated by a guy by Virtue. I like being Virtue brigaded by somebody who fucking screwed over their boxers in their own event multiple times. They refused money for charity because of personal gripes with Sam Hyde. Again, you might think, oh, well, Sam Hyde sucks, you shouldn't have to allow them in your event. Yeah, but $10,000 in charity money for cancer kids, I wouldn't say no to that, even for my worst fucking enemy. If I was doing an event and Hasan showed up, and I hate Hasan, but he's like, I'm buying like $10,000 worth of tickets, I'm like, enjoy yourself, so Hasan. I see this as me fleecing the people I fucking hate for money for a cause that I care about. Wow. But a guy who's willing to do that, a dude who then turns his second event, after refusing money, after screwing over one of his boxers, he then turns his event into a fucking, how much can we get people to glaze us at all these little parties, instead of worrying about making money for 1, the fighters, and 2, the cancer kids, only to start a third event that's heading in the same direction, only this time we're not putting any money to Cancer Kid. It's all for profit with a shitty fucking stamped on GoFundMe on the side, then bailing the ship when it's failing. Yeah, that sounds like the guy who's the orbiter of morality to me. That's the guy that I'm gonna follow into the trenches, because he's morally fucking sound. I just can't. I mean, he made a video on his best friend where he removed all the context of his kids being harassed. That makes absolutely no sense in the world and the realm of morality and justice that he likes to sit on this little hill of, Get the fuck out of here, Idubbbz, you goddamn weird crack pirate clown, bro. You're Buggy the Clown in One Piece, dude. You're being puppeteered by a bunch of other people who have actual power, and you're just the figurehead of dipshittery. But don't worry, guys. He's like super inclusive because he made the intro of his video in Spanish at the end of the video to really prove that he's with the cause, brother. He's with the cause. But that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this little rant about one of the biggest dipshits on the internet. And wait until next time where I do another video on some other dipshit, because I seem to make a lot of those. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one, you fucking goonbags. And stop gooning in the closet, please.